Gen Z is drinking less or being sober
Yeah,
curious.
yes.
Why is that happening?
So
Alcohol marketing for years away, even India or globally, never been outright that ki daru piyo. As a marketer, where do you see the creativity has gone in the alcohol space?
narratives work brilliantly. People love to understand, is there a story behind what I'm consuming today?
What is it about content that is biologically impossible to ignore?
The whole thought about having a content calendar is something that is coming from a marketer standpoint, because a marketer needs structure. So they think week on week. Hence the whole thought of content bucket started. The moment you start thinking differently and you realize that the consumer is not thinking this way. I'm not waiting for that happy Raksha Bandhan quote from my favorite brand. I'm not waiting for
I
it.
so true want to
Yeah.
call those marketers out today on the podcast. Why? Why do they think we follow a calendar?
Why? Because marketer को मजा नहीं आ रहा है ना. Your job is not to judge your customer. Your job is to understand them, exploit that. You're being hired so that by your activities, their sales go up. If that is not going to happen, then आपके काम का कोई फायदा नहीं है.
If an 18-year-old wants to today come into advertising,
If an 18-year-old asked me today, I said don't come into it.
really?
कोई काम का नहीं है, बकवास है जगह. And there's a reason why I do this.
Hello and welcome to Getting Drunk with Madira Vogue. The podcast is in its third season, and as we all know, there is so much to talk about always. Like, we love talking about advertising, we love talking about how the alcohols are made. I thought, let's really talk about creativity. Creativity, which is there. And everybody, आजकल तो ज़माना ही है, सब लोग चाहते हैं अपने फील्ड का शाहरुख खान बनना, सब लोग चाहते हैं अपने फील्ड का ऋतिक रोशन बनना. Personal branding is the thing. So I decided that if I want to understand creativity, I need to go deep. And I was lucky that I have a very dear friend. I convinced him, and today I am super excited because I have Omkar Joshi, the creative head of Hybrid and OCD of Creative Labs, here with me. He has won almost 45 awards in his tenure of 15 years. Just 15 years, such a talent. And out of those 45 awards, 4 are agencies of the year. So he's the man when it comes to understanding how a creative brain works. And this podcast, I am going to try and hack into his brain, hopefully, and understand and make viewers of Madira Vogue also understand how the creative DNA actually functions in the real life. So, Omkar, thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. Like you rightly said, we've been trying to do this for a year now. And well, we are here and I'm very excited. Congratulations to you. I mean, it's the third season of Getting Drunk with Madira Vogue. I love the content that you guys put up. You said that, let's talk about everything and anything related to creativity and the world of advertising, and then take it towards the world of alcohol, of course.
Yeah.
I had to do it, absolutely. So why not?
Well, we both share the same passion, which is marketing, and someone who has been building brands so closely for last 15 years. And the more I get to know about you, you've worked with Myntra, Amazons of the world, to some of the very creative BFSI campaigns also, to some of the crazy Alcobev recent campaigns, which also integrate AI so well, So I don't think so there's any one brief which has not touched your table so far, is it?
Well, it's a good thing and a bad thing, which also means basically I'm always drowned in briefs, so to speak. But it's a good problem to have. And I think I consider myself very lucky that I've got the kind of access to the kind of work that I've done, the kind of campaigns, the kind of people that I've worked with to build all of this, had the kind of chance to work with clients who had faith, and in fact sometimes even took a leap of faith with us. A lot of times when I talk about this with my friends and whenever we catch up, it comes to the point where they say, इसका Netflix का series बनाते हैं एक दिन बैठ के. Because
The Madman too?
I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not just advertising which got me here. A lot of things before that also. In school, I used to do a lot of reading. That probably got me into the world of imagining things and all, those kind of thought processes which start coming into a person's mind. Slowly and steadily went into college, and that's where got heavily into theater. That got me into writing, that got me into understanding emotions, human psychology. Uh, Spent a lot of time traveling during that period because those
Nice.
are the times when we didn't have the kind of budgets to go and take flights everywhere, right? And plus, the places that we were at, we didn't even have airports and stuff. So you by default are traveling by train. ट्रेन में भी एसी की टिकट लेना मतलब बहुत बड़ी बात हो जाती थी, तो स्लीपर में घूम रहे हो, which gave me a chance to actually see people across the country. Post that, I did my MBA, so that's where the structure came into my thinking, and that was also the place where I got very deeply involved into the world of advertising. Ki, okay, this is integrated marketing communication. That's the term that is used in MBAs, right? People in MBA love to like add jargons and make things very complicated. That's where I also learned the importance of keeping it simple. And after that, I think during engineering, me and a very, very close friend of mine, Deepak Krishna, we were constantly thinking about that. We were part of the Dramatics Club. We were doing a lot of filmmaking together. We won an award for a film that we made over there. So तब मुझे दिमाग में बैठ गया था कि यार यही करना है आगे जाके. But by default, you're in MBA, तो MBA के बाद क्या चाहिए? Placement चाहिए पहला तो. So we did that. Both of us got placed at one point. एक साल तक एक दूसरे को फोन करते रहे कि यार कुछ करो, यार कुछ करते हैं, कुछ करो. Somehow the stars aligned. I was in Goa meeting a few friends, and some things clicked. And a friend is like, "Why don't you guys stay here? I'll invest in a company, and I want you guys to be, doing this with us."
Nice.
I called up Deepak one day. भाई pack your bags, चुपचाप आ जा. तो दूसरे दिन निकल गया वहां से, अहमदाबाद आ गया. अहमदाबाद से हम दोनों ट्रेन में बैठ गए गोवा के लिए. रास्ते में हमने फर्म का नाम सोचा, वो सब सोचा.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting, pretty dramatic, I must say.
Yeah, man, it is crazy. वहाँ गए, वहाँ 3 साल काम किया, बहुत सारा गोवा मैराथन, कार्निवल के साथ बहुत काम किया, and so on and so forth. Lot of interesting stuff. There we were working with small and medium scale primarily.
Okay. I understand that you had your friend and you guys had the drive, but coming back to the content era that today we all live in, you know, it's like crazy. It's exploding now with AI into the picture, with every second person wanting to, put a personal brand. I'm not saying they are content creators, but everybody wants to have their own personal brand.
True.
What is it about content that is biologically impossible to ignore?
Impossible to ignore. Wow. Okay. I think it's the same with any kind of thing that we watch. We are talking about content as something different, but it is not. It's the way we talk about a magazine, the way you talk about content. What is impossible to ignore is something that is entertaining, very, very relevant for me today.
Yeah.
And being presented to me in a fresh manner.
Got it.
Fresh can be anything. Fresh does not generally only mean a different camera angle. It can be, let's say, a different kind of music. It can be a different kind of shot. It can be a different kind of language. Different people. Different kind of narrative.
Sure.
Anything which is entertaining will be impossible to ignore. It goes with ads also. अगर वो entertain नहीं कर रहा है, तो वो काम नहीं करेगा. By default.
I mean, they have to be remembered. I think our memory
Absolutely
builds that for us, biologically. I feel my memory has like those ads that have been, stuck in it, like whenever I think of an ad, I subconsciously wanted to, ring that bell, in my mind.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
What about the content overload today? It's like bizarre, it's like the brands expect a lot of loyalty from their customer and it is so difficult, like I think brands are feeling dissuade and disloyalty is like the currency moving on.
I'll stop you there. See, that I have a problem with a brand actually trying to use these words like disloyal and loyalty and all of that. I'm sorry. It is not that your customer is in some kind of very, very deep, I would say, committed relationship with you, which means they have to be loyal to you. And if they are not loyal to you, they are flirting elsewhere and they're becoming disloyal to you. There is already a negative connotation to the customer today. Why? Because marketer को मजा नहीं आ रहा है ना. It's pathetic. Marketer को तो मजा ही नहीं आ रहा है. वो तो क्या कह रहा है? अरे ये customer मेरा नहीं है. शीश, ये disloyal है. I'm feeling good about myself when I say that. But the reality is customers are never loyal. Customers were doing transactions with you. They even today do transactions with you. There is no relationship here. We did a campaign for a bank a very long time back. And that campaign was made, it was a satirical campaign.
Okay.
And the kind of copies that were going on the posters was that we are not your family.
Okay.
And instantly people like, "Arey, bank kya bol rahe? We are not your family." Huh, your family is waiting for you at home. We are the places where you can come and do your transaction quickly. Efficiency. That's all you require from us.
Got it.
Banking, for example, banking talks about a lot of these relationships. Zindagi ke pehle bhi, zindagi ke baad bhi. BFSI loves this because they don't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah.
But the reality is, a customer does not think that way.
Yeah.
Customer comes to you today once at an ATM maybe.
Yeah.
वो ब्रांच भी नहीं आना चाहता है. सब कुछ मोबाइल बैंकिंग नेट बैंकिंग पे चल रहा है उसका. वो ब्रांच में भी अगर नहीं घुस रहा है, where is that relationship with you? Same thing going with anywhere else. You know, people are let's say having coffee. You are a you have a relationship with Starbucks. Everybody knows that. Very very unhealthy relationship, I would say, but very healthy for Starbucks. They're making a lot of money off
Very
you.
toxic, I would say.
Very very toxic. But now if you decide to start having chai one day, now suddenly you become disloyal. Starbucks looks down at you. No, that viewpoint is wrong.
Yeah. Got
And
it.
marketers need to change that.
Yeah.
And as a result, content overload to hone hi wala hai. It will only get worse from this point.
Yeah.
It has always been this way.
Yeah, with AI coming in,
It's already
like
our job is never to sit and judge what is happening in the world. Recently, I was at a college. I was speaking to students. I was doing a session with them. And one of the big things I told them as a marketer, and which is a lot of marketers need to learn today, by the way. They've forgotten maybe. Your job is not to judge your customer. Your job is to understand them.
Yeah.
And it might sound crude, but exploit that.
Yeah.
To your benefit. Your job is not to judge them. Your job is to understand them. ये कर रहे हैं, क्यों कर रहे हैं, वो समझो, उसको यूज करो.
Yeah.
ये नहीं कि ये कैसे हो गए आजकल के लोग. नहीं, that is not your job. Excuse me. एक तो आप उनको पैसा भी चाहिए. अब उनको जज भी करोगे.
Okay.
See, this is the big problem. Marketers have already put themselves such a pedestal. And then they crib and cry, saying
and
that
they are
"Arey,
looking down on the habits that Gen Zs have
Absolutely.
to content consumption and no loyalty
everywhere.
It's but you know, when you sit in the boardrooms, and I'm sure as a marketer you are
Yeah.
expected to understand the business cycles and the
Definitely.
revenues and the profitability and blah blah blah. Where does creativity stand? You know,
Everywhere.
really.
Some of the big, sadly speaking, some of the biggest scams we know has been creative accounting. Creativity is everywhere.
Really?
And they have to go hand in hand.
Mhm.
See, why is an advertising industry alive? Because a brand, a marketer requires a partner who will creatively bring their story, their knowledge, their communication out to their customer. If that creativity is not there, then that person doesn't get hired only. Advertising industry ही नहीं होती.
Yeah.
The industry exists because there is a requirement for you to
Sure.
remain creative and add to the business goal. Advertising ka job is not to win an award.
Got it.
You're being hired so that by your activities, their sales go up.
Yeah.
If that is not going to happen, then आपके काम का कोई फायदा नहीं है.
Yeah.
It was said, I think, one of the examples I give a lot of places is the Vodafone Zuzu campaign.
Yeah.
When it first came out, आज भी किसी को पूछो Zuzu campaign किस चीज का campaign था, किसी को पता ही नहीं है. Zuzu campaign याद है.
Yeah.
हाँ वो याद है, वो बच्चे लोग ऐसा those white figures were doing all this nonsense puppet चीजें कर रहे थे, मजा आता था. Very great. What is the campaign for? Vodafone. हाँ क्या, लेकिन क्या बेच रहे थे वो लोग? They were doing value added services.
Yeah.
Missed call alert, caller tunes, ये सब का वो काम था.
Yeah.
There was no uptick in any of that stuff. As per Vodafone, it was a failed campaign. That campaign won all the awards in the world.
Yeah.
See the difference.
Yeah. That's true.
And when it started becoming better, more targeted, is when the VAS services started doing better. Then it became an effective campaign. But when it released for the first time, I think it was the IPL itself or something like that. Maybe a World Cup or something.
Yeah.
Some cricket related के time पे आया था. It didn't do well. That was the most important. That business तो होना ही है. अगर business नहीं हो रहा है तो आपका creativity का कोई काम नहीं है. You're a commercial artist.
Yeah.
Which means somebody's paying you to do your art.
So that's where I think the big difference lies today.
Absolutely.
Like the marketeers
And this
who
is
understand it.
And not just the marketers, even the advertising people.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems is a lot of advertising agencies are driving their own agenda. मुझे ये फिल्म बनानी है, मुझे ये कैंपेन ऐसे बनाना है, मुझे ये पोस्टर ऐसे करना है, क्योंकि उसके दिमाग में तो क्या मैं इसका ना केस स्टडी बनाऊंगा उस वाले उसमें डाल. They are not thinking, is it something that the brand requires?
That's a
वो question, and that's
very
when the brand comes
important.
back and gives feedback. हमको नहीं मजा आया. They're like, अरे इनको कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है. Oh, hello, no, that is not your job.
Yeah,
Your job is to understand what is not working
true.
and tweak your campaign accordingly, because they're paying your salary.
Yeah, that's true.
If you are a commercial, if you're not a commercial artist, अगर तुम एमएफ हुसैन होते ना, तो तुम बनाओ एक गोला, बीच में एक डॉट डालो और उसका 1 crore मिलेगा तुमको.
That's
Yes.
true.
But that's when you are taking the risk completely on yourself, and you will not get paid for a long time.
So ownership is basically
ownership.
driving the ownership of.
Here the ownership is the brand's ownership. You
Yeah.
are being hired to do it. Do your job.
That's
Very
true.
important.
That's true.
So both have to go side by side, without doubt.
Now coming to the clients that.
Oh, damn. Those monsters. Those foolish monsters.
So I mean, you deal with them day in and day out. You know, be it like the e-commerce guys to the Alcobev guys.
I like how you said we deal with them on a daily basis. But yeah, I mean, not everybody is like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say we work with them hand in hand. We collaborate with them. We partner with them.
Nice. So tell me
they-
one thing. What is the most red flag brief you've read in your recent times? Or what's the biggest red flag in a brief when it comes
When it
to
is given in WhatsApp,
really?
yeah, when it's given on call,
Okay.
and they say, हाँ ये करना है, campaign ऐसे बनना है, मैं कॉल पे बता देता हूँ तुमको. It's an instant red flag.
Okay.
Write it down. Take the moment, take the time, write it down in a document, send it to us officially so that it's very clearly documented what is expected from this and why it is being coming to you. That's the first thing. That's a very big red flag. Second red flag is if it's a vague brief.
Okay.
Matlab, who's the audience? Standard. They have given us age groups, income levels, khatam. Location maybe. Gender maybe. That's it. उसके अलावा कोई दिया नहीं है. That's just that's not even a profile. That's not even a cohort. People do that big mistake right now. You know, they make that cohort which is just like 25 to 35, male, female, SEC or NCCS1, A1, A2, A3, वो सब. And then they say top 4 metros in the country. हाँ तो क्या?
क्या? What?
आगे बताओ. करते क्या ये लोग? क्या करते जिंदगी में? इसी चीज के अंदर एक बड़ा बड़ा सोना पहनने वाला भाई भाऊ भी आ जाएगा इसके अंदर. तुम्हारा कॉलेज गोइंग स्टूडेंट भी इसके अंदर आ सकता है. एक लाइफ इंश्योरेंस का एजेंट भी इसके अंदर बैठ सकता है. सब बैठेंगे. इट्स फूलिश. दैट मीन्स नोबडी पेड अटेंशन टू दिस. दैट्स अ रेड फ्लैग. ये ब्रीफ पे किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला कुछ कर रहे हो कि नहीं कर रहे हो. Deliverable is not very clear. Objective is not very clear.
So it's like
Again,
client is not clear, and that's
Huh,
comes out
they
in
just
the
doesn't
brief.
want to do something.
Something, yeah.
And that's a red flag. That's an instant red flag. The amount of seriousness with which a client briefs the agency, that tells you how important that brief is and how much importance it holds in their business for them
Got it.
by default. तो अगर ऐसे ही तुमको फोन पे ब्रीफ आ रहा है या व्हाट्सएप पे ब्रीफ भेज दिया आपको, that's not a brief.
So now coming to the favorite topic of mine, which I've been really itching since a while to ask you, is about surrogate marketing.
Yeah.
We are sitting on Madira Vogue. The podcast is about getting drunk.
Absolutely.
I mean, I shamelessly do talk about it
No, it's nothing.
on camera,
It's
off
amazing.
camera. Yeah, but you know, today when you see alcohol marketing, for years, you know, there has been a way, even India or globally, to do it. You know, it has never been outright that ki daru piyo. You know, not
True.
that we also promote it. We always say
Fair.
drink responsibly.
True.
As a marketer, where do you see the creativity has gone in the alcohol space? Because you worked with some of the great brands, you know.
I've had the good luck to
Yeah.
work on some great brands
Yeah.
over the course of my career. I think Alcobev is probably one of the most exciting industries from an advertiser's perspective. Multiple reasons for that. One of the biggest, I'd say, driving factors for that excitement is the way it's presented also, right? Surrogate, of course, comes because there are certain guidelines, and that's natural. It's not global, by the way. Across the globe, it might not be like this. But in India, yes, that's a very strong factor. It's like saying you cannot talk about your alcohol in public domain in your ATL space, आप टेलीविजन पे नहीं डाल सकते हो, आप होर्डिंग्स पे नहीं डाल सकते हो. क्यों? क्योंकि वो कोई बच्चा देख लेगा और गलत मैसेज जाएगा, या फिर कोई यंगस्टर भी देख लेगा तो मैसेज गलत जाता है. You can't talk about over consumption. You can't do this, you can't do that. Great. हम नहीं बोलेंगे, लेकिन वो कर रहा है ना. Customer is still doing it. Are you saying that when a customer passes by the wine store and sees all the tamjam around the wine store, they are not getting the message still? When you go to on-premise, marketing in Alcobev talks about on-premise, off-premise. That's the two areas that you can primarily
Yeah.
work. So inside a pub, inside a bar, it's not happening, it's happening. So it's not perfect, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Naturally, it's not perfect, but okay, it's doing what it tries to do. Hence, a very interesting challenge comes up, right? Saying
Yeah.
that if you want to still market your brand, you need a surrogate, you need a brand extension. Very exciting because now it's a creative challenge.
Yeah.
Hence, it is fun. By default, a lot of your brands will take something which is supplementary,
Yeah.
which can work together. Let's say a whiskey brand goes with a mixer, which could be water, it could be sparkling water, it could be soda, it could be flavored sodas. A gin goes with tonic, for example. So those kind of connections are by default great.
Yeah.
It comes from the thought process. What is a user doing? User behavior is that if I'm drinking this with a mixer, then let's make the mixer as your brand extension.
Yeah.
If the user drinks it neat, then can I make the glass my extension? So on and so forth. It's very connected to the user. And by default, certain places when it's mass, that's where they come towards music, for example.
Yeah.
They come to fashion
Yeah.
and lifestyle and those areas, because that's going to give you a chance to go to a larger audience. It's again extremely exciting because it's the one place where still storytelling works very, very well.
Yeah.
Narratives work brilliantly. People love to understand, is there a story behind what I'm consuming today?
Yeah.
And people really react very positively to some great stories.
True.
Another, which brings us to another very big aspect of Alcobev marketing, is the packaging design itself, which is one of the key factors that really decides if a bottle is going to be picked up on the shelf or it will not be picked up on the shelf. A person connecting to it, can it become a collector's item? For example, Absolute, that's done that brilliantly. Everybody knows the shape of the Absolute bottle.
Yeah.
In India, let's say an Old Monk bottle, there's no other bottle which is like that.
Yeah.
It's very, very unique. So I think those areas makes it very exciting.
Yeah.
That the creativity now has, the moment you put some challenges, some constraints, that's where creativity thrives.
Booms.
It really jumps out. When you leave the thing open completely, koi limit nahi hai, then creativity will go chaotic.
I'm just, trying to understand from a marketer's perspective, when you have a great liquid at your hand, but you still want to tell the story behind it. Of course, there is charm in it. But does today alcohol sell on the liquid, lifestyle, or something else?
I think a bit of everything. Definitely a bit of everything. The liquid, of course, by default, it's like any other product. It is very important. Your liquid is something which is going to decide if there is going to be continuous consumption or not. So there are certain liquids which focus on taste, certain liquids which focus on smoothness, depending on the kind of alcohol, the kind of consumer who's being given to. But liquid definitely makes a big difference. I think more than that, the story behind it becomes very interesting today because of the simple fact that there are too many options to choose from, right? Yeah. It's what happens with cola, for example. Right? You've got Coke, you've got Thumbs Up, you've got Pepsi. All three are dark, aerated sodas, right? All three are sweet. What is the difference now? You do blind tests, a lot of people will not be able to tell the difference. Yes, Coke is a little sweeter, Thumbs Up a little more crisper, stronger. Pepsi is a little closer towards the Coke side, but it's not as sweet at the same time. But if a blind test is done, not everybody will get the difference. Where's the difference? Is because of story. Yeah. Coke is happiness, Pepsi is youth, Thumbs Up is fear, that adventure and hunger and little taste the thunder. That's the story. That's true. That's a differentiation. So same thing happens with alcohol also right now. So the story definitely makes a big difference. Price point plays a very big factor because price point decides how the consumption will also happen. That's true. And a customer in a category which already exists will start instantly making the connections. So if I'm let's say pricing a particular piece of let's say whiskey, for example, is being priced in the 1500 1600 range, instantaneously the person is connecting it to it's like that other 1500 whiskey, it's like that other 1600 whiskey. Uh, if you don't want that happening, then you have to price it higher or lower, or whichever way.
That's true.
So price will instantly start bringing the comparison in the mind of a customer. Customer does that today. Other than that, is of course status. So a person still does not have a problem with a red dark rum, Old Monk, which is very cheap, but one of the best products globally in the red rum space. He or she will still not have a problem holding that while holding, let's say, a absolute bottle also right next to it. But I think when I say status, people will still choose to pick up, let's say, a bottle of Jägermeister because it says that means you are somewhere.
Yeah.
So status definitely becomes a very big selling factor. What connects here is what others have been seeing, and I want to live that lifestyle. So hence that whole mirroring of lifestyles becomes a very big thing. But yes, by default, that story is your greatest asset. And that story drives everything then as a result of it. Yes,
you brought a very interesting point that brand extensions are being done for music. And I mean, we live in Bombay, and today there is not one big global artist which has not been brought in India by a Alcobev brand. From Weekenders to Lola's to everybody has brought a big brand.
Very
but
true.
There is the money of the Alcobev industry which has come into
Very
play.
true.
So do you see a music IPs being the best way for these Alcobev brands to promote themselves?
I think as of today, yes, it's a no-brainer, right? Where do you find your customers in a group and consuming your product in the best possible way? You would want to take your product there.
Sure.
If I am a brand of beer, then by default I want group consumption happening.
Yeah.
And connecting it to great experiences. And hence a brand like Budweiser probably goes and does all the music events, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a no-brainer connection. It's a very, very clear connection to your customers' lifestyle also.
Yeah.
Somebody who's young, wants to have fun, doesn't overdrink, is not looking at binging for no reason. It's a part of what they're doing while drinking. So while I'm having fun at a music festival, seeing my most favorite artist with 5 of my best friends, what do we have in our hand? It's the Budweiser. So hence the connection is very organic as a result.
Yeah.
So yes, music definitely will be that.
If not music, what do you think could be the best way
there
to
are great spaces. I think lifestyle becomes one very, very strong area. We worked with this brand Fireball, and they've jumped into the world of lifestyle. I think that's a great space to be in, especially in a world where consumption is getting, consumption patterns are changing very rapidly. Gen Z consumption is very different from millennial consumption. And for that matter, millennial consumption is very, very different from what the boomer consumption used to be. So in that kind of a world, lifestyle becomes a very big area, because now you can talk about something more than just this.
Music, yeah.
And music can be a part of it also.
Sure.
The benefit is that the moment you're only in music, then you get stuck only in music. Especially if you're in specific genres, then you get only stuck in those genres again. But if you're in, let's say, lifestyle, you can go to music and come back. You can go to fashion, you can come back. You can go to apparel and come back. You can go to collectible items and come back. You can do whatever you want. So I think that's a little bit more broader space. Not very, I'd say, explored by a lot of places right now. Music is, by default, it's like the go-to thing. So public ne shuru kar diya pehle se. And it's a mass space. That's how you'll reach a bigger audience.
Yeah.
But yes, you will have to do different things now, because music is saturated. It's heavily saturated.
Yeah.
And even the live event industry is getting very saturated, at least in your metros.
Yeah.
As a result, to connect to a lot of customers, you will need something different.
That's
the creative will be required. Creativity will come over there also.
Nice.
The other space, of course, which has not been touched a lot, is custom IPs. IPs in the area of content.
Yeah.
What if there is a brand which basically runs on the thought of podcast?
Yeah.
Let's say you have Budweiser, Madira Vogue. I'm just saying, but that's seen constantly everywhere, and the kind of conversations that happen are consistent, very high frequency. So by default, it's a conversation. It's a brand which does conversations. Like, for example, I would connect it to maybe a whiskey brand, single malt. What do you do with your single malt? You sit down, you talk.
Yeah.
You don't take a single malt and go rave somewhere. Doesn't match, right?
Yeah.
So if a single malt is being talked about, well, sit and have conversations.
Conversations. That's
That's an IP.
when I
So
started
extensions,
this.
I think, yeah. So
Then I
extensions does make sense, yes.
Yeah, that's true. So when I started Madira Vogue, also you've actually taken the words out of my mouth today, is the reason that you can sit and have matured conversations
Absolutely.
over alcohol. It doesn't
Absolutely.
need to be that people need to get drunk, need to
Yeah.
act rowdy, and that's how alcohol has been portrayed sadly in a lot
Sadly,
of
that's true.
places. Or don't drink and drive. Of course,
Absolutely.
nobody should drink
Nobody
and
should
drive.
drink and drive. That's right.
So that's not the kind of threat that an alcohol marketing needs. But
True.
sadly, that is where the space has always been crowded when it comes to alcohol conversations.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. And I think it's very misunderstood also, right? And the taboo and everything that comes with it in certain areas of our society itself is coming from that thought process. Ki, by default, somebody thinks that if you drink, which means you're rowdy by nature, which is not the truth. And a lot of parts of our society understands that also.
Yeah.
It's a culture in a lot of states. It's a culture in a lot of families. It's part of that culture.
Yeah.
People who drink does not mean they are unhealthy, does not mean they are toxic as individuals, does not mean कि वो देवदास है. वो does not mean कि वो बस वो एक जगह पे बैठे रहते हैं और फिर वो the word in Bombay that we use is beoda. No, that's not the point. It
That's
could be
true.
something which is a great conversation starter, and it can lead to some great things in life.
Yeah.
Fine. Part of lifestyle, like I said. So yeah.
That's so true. But today there are so many newspapers. I think it started last year itself that they've been talking about the severity amongst the Gen Zs. Or Gen Z is drinking less or being sober curious.
Yes.
Why is that happening? I mean, as a marketer and a creative
so
person, how
that
do you
is-
see that?
So I think it's like, again, no point in judging it. If you try to understand it, it will open up certain avenues in your mind. One of the biggest reasons why millennials used to drink so much, and I said drink so much, I'm not saying they individually drink a lot and they're over drinkers. I'd say there is a consumption levels were very, very high, have been very, very high in millennials, not the same in Gen Z. Number one is that why does someone consume alcohol? Because alcohol consumption by default, at least let's say till 15 years back, used to represent a sense of freedom, a sense of de-stressing, decompression, a sense of liberation also to a certain extent, right? Millennials did not have that kind of exposure to such avenues. So alcohol represented that for them.
That's true.
A Gen Z person today has got those avenues way before earlier in life because of the amount that exposed to the world through social media that they have already experienced, the kind of stories that they've already seen. As a result, for them, the sense of freedom, liberation, and all those things does not come from alcohol anymore. They have probably other things that they do. And that is also the truth, that while we talk about this, consumption, there is substance consumption that is very, very high in the Gen Z world compared to millennials.
That's true.
Because millennials would be, let's say, saying कुछ भी करेंगे, drugs गलत बात है, नहीं करना चाहिए. That's the truth. आज भी करेंगे वो. Millennials आज भी वैसे ही सोचेगा. And he's not looking at it the same way. They're like, oh, it's pleasure. It's just what do you call it? Exploring my life, and I'm having fun with even substance. The access has changed. The access is higher, so hence that's the world that they're going to, rather than going to this world. The other area which is spoken about is health.
Yeah.
They are more health conscious. They want to become more healthy and all of that. Not completely true. It's a theory, it's a hypothesis, true to a certain extent, but not completely true. Because if that was the case, then that would apply to every part of their lives.
That's true.
Which is not the truth. So just like any other human being, it's a human nature. It does not completely apply to that. It does not mean that the Gen Z world is healthier than the millennial world. Everybody is the same at that age. In fact, you would be very surprised, but the amount of obesity cases in Gen Z is way higher than ever in the history of the world.
Wow, crazy.
So, now, doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they are sugar dependent. Could be anything. Their hormonal changes might be because of the kind of things that they're exposed to.
There is some addiction, which
be
we
anything.
don't understand at this point. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or their stress levels because they are exposed too much to different things.
Absolutely.
We don't know. We
Very
don't know.
true.
Sitting on the fag end of the millennial, I don't understand the Gen Zs that well. So
That's
comment on
one
that.
of the biggest, I think, things that you just said. That's one of the biggest things that a marketer needs to learn. That you cannot just learn about a particular customer of yours, a cohort of yours, by reading material only.
Yeah.
You need to spend time with them, with your focus groups, try and understand as much information as possible, and still be very aware and accepting of the fact that I don't completely understand it.
That's true.
Which means I need to get Gen Z people into my team and let them lead that part, talking about insight. How do we start selling jewelry to ladies when, let's say, we never wore jewelry ourselves? How are we doing cosmetics marketing when we've never used a lipstick in our lives?
True.
Because we spent so much time understanding that world, the women, the users, men also today, yes, and those users, and we had women lead that.
True.
uh, it's as simple as saying that if there is an advertising campaign that has to be done for sanitary napkins or sanitary pads, a man should not be doing it. That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
Absolutely doesn't make sense. If there is a campaign that has to be done for let's say makeup, or let's say cosmetics, well, a man should not be doing it. Again, I'm not stereotyping that men don't use it and oh, men should not use it. I'm generalizing it, with the understanding that there is a section of men who use a lot of cosmetics and makeup, but their usage and the reason why they use it,
Yeah.
if a man who's never used makeup is running it, they will not get it.
True.
Might as well have a man who does use makeup run that campaign for me. Great. A user understands the user. If you're not the user, there will always be a gap,
Yeah.
and we must accept that. That does not mean that a man cannot write an ad for Women's Day. It's okay. Everybody can do it. Similarly, a woman can write an ad for Men's Day. There's nothing wrong in that. We cannot talk about gender in that manner. We should not talk. There's no sense in talking about it like that. But the reality remains that if you want to bring authenticity, that's one way to do it.
True.
And if you can't do it, accept it. Yeah, it might not be fully authentic. Yeah, I'm doing it with a pinch of salt. I'm not sure if this is right. Which means I will ask 50 people.
True.
क्या ये सही किया है मैंने? क्या ये सही है भाई? Are you okay? Do you think this is
Being
relevant?
open to
I'm not
feedback.
sure if this is right or not. Even if you are the most celebrated or most experienced person in the room, it's okay to say this is not my area.
Got
But in advertising, you don't have the freedom to say ये मेरा area नहीं है, so I'm out. You can't do that. You're like, हाँ मेरा area नहीं, अब सीखना पड़ेगा. कोई बात नहीं, सीखो. So continuous learning. I think that's one of the big things why I enjoy my work a lot, because I'm very curious to know about things in the world.
Nice.
Which is why I'm also a quizzer at one side. I do a lot of quizzes. I'm a quiz master.
Nice.
But that comes from the thought process that I love knowing about the world, which allows me to do this very well. कि हाँ, I love getting new briefs. Oh wow, नया industry के बारे में जानेंगे आज. You will find advertising people as a result are probably the most knowledgeable people about business.
Yeah.
Because they work with so many different industries, उनको पता है ये industry ऐसे काम करती है, industry ऐसे काम करती है, industry ऐसे काम करती है. They have so much information, इसलिए पागल हो जाते हैं. And hence caffeine, nicotine, alcohol.
No, I would say it's the creativity which keeps you guys going, and is why businesses need good storytelling, and that is why people have to have an hybrid.
The Lord knows that
OCD.
businesses need good storytelling. The Lord knows it does. Yes.
Today, when I look at hybrid, it is not the traditional agency.
Not at all. Not even close.
Not even close. So
that's by design.
Yeah. So what was the thought process, or what were those learnings or unlearnings that led you, or the frustrations, if I may say, that led you to start a very different creative outfit?
So I think one of the big reasons, and that we speak about this a lot when we are introducing ourselves, whenever we go to any new brand, a new client, we talk about this a lot. Why are we doing this? Why did we start a new agency? And the answer comes from right there, that we did not want to do a few things which were becoming very commonplace. The very first thing is that whenever somebody said digital marketing, it was essentially social media management, sticking to a particular scope of work, and just churning out content like an assembly line.
Yeah,
that's not something we were excited about, because honestly speaking, I'm also a consumer. I'm not waiting for that Happy Raksha Bandhan post from my favorite brand. I'm not waiting for it.
So true. What to call those marketers out today on the podcast? Why do they think we follow a calendar?
So I think that's a lot to talk about there also, that the whole thought about having a content calendar is something that is coming from a marketer standpoint, because a marketer needs structure.
Yeah.
So they think week on week. Hence the whole thought of content bucket started.
Yeah.
We will have weekly content buckets. Some log wow Wednesdays karenge, fabulous Fridays karenge. What is all this?
Tasty
It's all coming from the
Tuesdays.
side. Yeah, tasty Tuesdays. Sheesh. It's coming from the side of the marketer needing structure.
Yeah.
The moment you start thinking differently,
Yeah.
and you realize that the consumer is not thinking this way. कंज्यूमर ऐसे नहीं कर रहा है. कंज्यूमर का तो दिन चल रहा है, वीक चल रहा है, कौन सा महीना चल रहा है.
Yeah.
दे आर नॉट थिंकिंग स्ट्रक्चरली. ओ आज वेडनेसडे है, लास्ट वीक तो इस ब्रांड ने डाला था, इस वीक ब्रांड ने नहीं डाला. आई डोंट लाइक दिस ब्रांड एनीमोर. कंज्यूमर डज नॉट थिंक लाइक दैट. And those brands which have understood that, they are doing fabulous on social media today.
Yeah.
Because the structure is not there. They are acting like content creators, and which is why content creators are doing very well.
Yeah.
Content creators से कोई expect नहीं कर रहा है कि next episode कब आएगा. वो बोल देता है, हाँ मैंने shoot कर लिया, अब मैं देने वाला हूँ.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the things that we did not want to do. We did not want to get into that world.
Mm-hmm.
And there are agencies who are doing that today.
Sure.
There are very, very large agencies. Probably some of the biggest agencies in the country have been built on this model, which is getting quite challenged at the moment because of technology and the way everything is running in the world today. But I think the bigger energy that was coming from our side, the bigger frustration which was driving it, was the fact that nobody was excited about a good idea anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly speaking, you can think about that. If I ask you today, people sitting in this room, people in who are watching this right now, which is the ad that you remember in the past 5 years that was fabulous, and people from the industry also, they probably will name 5.
Yeah.
Which is pathetic.
Yeah.
If you tell me the top 20 campaigns of India, they will probably start naming things which are 15 years older.
Yeah.
From today.
That's so true.
That is the problem. Yeah. With advertising. At least in India, I know it is a big challenge. There are people doing fabulous work, of course, no doubt about that. And that's what keeps us feeling very proud that हाँ अभी भी है लोग हैं जो अभी भी ये सोच रहे हैं. But everybody's got an agenda at the moment. A lot of agencies ideally have an agenda of business, which is fair. A lot of indie agencies are having the agenda of still business only. Yeah, they say that, oh, we are not like the networks of the world, but well, you are. Yeah. They have started making their own networks, independent networks. And the idea is what?
Yeah.
Can we make more money out of this? Did we get recognized as one of the most creative outfits, the most effective outfits in the country? Probably not. But that's okay. That's
as long as it's paying your bills.
Exactly. And which is fine because there is no right and wrong in this. Sure. But that was what was driving us. Saying, wo maza nahi aa raha hai ab dekh karke. Both can go hand in hand. You can make a lot of money and you can at the same time create great work. And there are enough examples across the world for this.
Sure.
Which was another big thing. Third very big, I would say, driving factor was how people are being treated in this industry.
Yeah.
We were very clear that people are this industry, nothing else. People say, anybody asks, what is advertising? People say it's a business of ideas. No, it's a business of people. It's a people's business. Ideas तो बाहर के चाय वाले के पास भी होगा.
I agree.
Similarly, बाहर का चाय वाला आप पूछोगे तो उसको वो इंडिया का क्रिकेट कोच भी है वही. उसको मालूम है, अरे वो शॉट नहीं लगाना चाहिए था, ये करना नहीं चाहिए. All that is there. But if you don't have the right kind of team, those ideas will never come out. If the team is not happy, ideas will not come out. If the team is not valued, they will not stay for a long time.
I so agree with you because
building is the part.
Yeah.
And those learnings came from my earlier experiences. I did some things which are great. I found that things were brilliant over there. And there are equally some things which are not that great. Okay. It's a constraint. Went to another place. Some things were superb. Some things are not. Okay. That's when we came to this point कि अब काफी कुछ learn कर लिया है. I mean, I'll give an example. We are probably the first agency in this country to start off paying people overtime.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And anytime we are 5 days a week. So if you're working on the weekends, which means, first of all, you'll be asked if you can work for the weekend because there is some work. We request someone, थोड़ा काम है time, कर सकते हैं साथ में. And you had the freedom to say, nahi yaar, I've got plans. I'm going out with my family. I'm doing nothing, but I don't want to work. Nice. Absolutely fine. And that has to be respected. Sadly, if you say that in a lot of agencies today, you will get a lot of grief.
Yeah.
Or we expect you to work harder.
Yeah. Or we expect you to work 24/7, something like those
Sunset
bizarre,
we are going home at 6 in the morning. Why are you not doing the same? Why are you not dying because I want to die? Foolish. It's
So it's
foolish.
like a sadistic circle which has been
Absolutely.
on. Yeah.
You cannot tell a person to, if it's, I mean, I will come back to I'm digressing a little bit from here. But if you're getting paid to, and if your office timings are 10:30 onwards, for example, and on average, 10:30 to 7:30. Before 10:30, you cannot tell a person to come earlier and work. You can request them if they want to, great. If they don't want to, it's okay. Post 7:30, tell them to continue working till 8, 8:30, 10, 12. No. That person has the freedom to tell a person saying, you're paying me for this. If you want more time, pay me more.
Yeah.
If you can't pay me more, don't expect me to work more.
That's true.
The same thing is something that an agency should be telling ahead to the client also. If you are paying me for this, you know our timings. Now you can't expect me to work outside those timings. And that's again something that we do very, very strongly at Hybrid. Our clients know कि 7:30 के बाद अगर किसी को मैसेज किया, कॉल किया, रिप्लाई शायद नहीं मिलेगा. बट इसलिए नहीं मिलेगा क्योंकि ये लोग बहुत एरोगेंट है, ऐसा कुछ है. ये पहले से बताया गया है. द फर्स्ट टाइम वी स्टार्ट द कन्वर्सेशन विद देम, एट द टाइम ऑफ साइनिंग द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, ये बात हो गई होती है. सो दे लाइक ओके, वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट, अंडरस्टूड. द एक्सपेक्टेशन सेटिंग इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. वी विल नॉट बी लाइक, सर जो भी आपका काम है ना सब कर देंगे हम, सब कुछ कर देंगे सर, बस साइन करो. नो, दैट्स नॉट व्हाट वी डू.
That's a good thing, you know,
absolutely.
because you're setting the expectations right. Whether they like to work or they don't want to work in that culture is their decision, but they've been informed. And it's kind of very gutsy, you know, because today, still in India, there are agencies who would bend backwards, do everything to, you know,
clients
please a client.
Yeah. Clients expect that from you.
Yeah.
I'll not name a client, but there is a client that I've been working with, and the client actually expects you to keep working irrespective of any kind of screw-ups that happen from their side.
Oh.
For example, one of the most notorious things that happens in the advertising world is payments. They never come on time. Yeah. It's apparently it's a given. क्या payment तो नहीं आएगा, time पे नहीं आएगा. चला लो. At the time of sign the contract बोलेगा 30-day credit period, 60-day credit period, सब होगा. But वो सब paper पे कोई कुछ करने वाला नहीं है. Because even the client is thinking कि अरे agency थोड़े हमको जाने देगा. So okay, push them, no problem. And by chance the agency says, sorry boss, I'm going to stop your work till the time you don't clear your bills. बुरा लग जाता है.
Yeah.
I don't know, उनको बुरा नहीं लगता है जब आपने Netflix का बिल अगर एक बार पे नहीं किया, वो 10वें दिन पे रोक देता है सर्विस आपकी.
Yeah, the subscription model.
They never say, how dare Netflix do this to me. They don't do that. No,
That's
but
so
agency के साथ, I don't care.
Yeah.
So we try to change that also.
Nice.
हमने काफी clients को bye bye भी बोल दिया इसी की basis पे.
Okay.
Saying that no, we cannot work this way. And this all comes back to that only कि when we started doing that, we were probably the first agency in the country to say overtime. Weekend पे अगर कोई काम कर रहा है, whatever is your hourly rate जो बनता है as per your salary, we do a simple calculation, hourly rate बनेगा, you will get paid double that.
Nice.
2x of what you make. When we, now surprisingly, when we, not surprisingly, when this was tabled for the first time in the core team, the leadership team, everybody is like, नहीं ऐसा नहीं कर सकते, अरे कंपनी बंद हो जाएगी अपनी. My instant question was, which means you're already expecting everybody is going to work on the weekends. Because if somebody is working overtime, there are only two reasons of it. Either we are understaffed or that person is not well managed.
Yeah.
दोनों में से कोई एक ही चीज है, efficiency नहीं है या फिर staff enough नहीं है. दोनों solve कर दो, वो नहीं काम नहीं करेगा weekend पे. You will be surprised, and people started also putting up that कि अरे लोग ना अपना काम कम करेंगे और वीकेंड पे ले लेंगे काम, ज्यादा पैसा लेंगे. मतलब we have to trust our people.
Yeah.
We have to. If we are not going to trust our people, who will trust our people?
So what I can gather is that Hybrid has been built on very, very ethical pillars.
We try to.
I
mean,
you know,
we try
being
to.
being very, very people focused. And I
Absolutely.
appreciate that, because a lot of people in India never talk about hourly rates. Where, okay, as creative people, we might work on hourly rates. We don't want to put a number, but you're bringing a very interesting point that, you know, I think with now AI and everything coming into picture and play, we need to pivot towards, you know, talking more seriously about our hourly rates as a marketeers and as creative people.
You need to put a value to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that comes from that. One of the other things that we started doing is we have a paternity leave.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Of 3 months.
That's great.
Not 10 days. 3 months, which you can take in staggered parts across the whole first year after your child's birth.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Because everybody knows that in Indian households, broadly speaking, the moment there's a kid which is born, फर्स्ट 6 months वो बच्चा का काम, डैड का काम ज्यादा नहीं रहेगा उस पहले 6 महीने में, शायद रहेगा, नो डाउट, बट सपोर्ट सिस्टम की तरह रहेगा. एंड इफ द गर्ल इज गोइंग बैक टू हर पेरेंट्स हाउस ड्यूरिंग दैट पीरियड, आई एम टॉकिंग ऑन अ जनरल बेसिस, फादर का काम नहीं रहेगा. 6 month के बाद उसका काम शुरू होगा. तो पेटर्निटी लीव में उसको शादी का बच्चा पैदा हुआ उसके इमीडिएटली बाद 10 दिन का पेटर्निटी लीव दे दूंगा, बाकी तेल लेने जा. इट्स फुलिश, राइट? इसे 3 महीना देंगे और पूरे साल में जब तुम्हें चाहे तब लो. 15 दिन अभी लो, फिर 1 महीना लो, लास्ट के 3 महीने में 2 महीना ले लो, नो प्रॉब्लम. यू डिसाइड.
That's good.
Because that's how we are showing support to our people and also telling them the right thing to do. Take that leave, go spend time with your family, with your wife, with your child. Go do that. Because when you do that, you feel fulfilled, you come back. I'm very happy today. I'm going to do my 100% in my work. That's what you're thinking about. And then while we are doing hybrid, a new thought came up that collaboration is the only way we are doing great work in the future. Today also, the best work that we have done in our lives is been through collaboration.
Okay.
Not just me.
Okay,
Not
so
just
you
saying
mean not just your agency, it is
Absolutely.
collaborative with other agencies,
Everybody.
other creatives. Oh,
everybody,
nice.
everywhere.
Nice.
That's where OCD came into picture.
Okay. That's
Saying that
fine.
can we create a space which is going to do the most wackiest stuff,
Hmm.
but does not have a form maybe.
Okay.
It doesn't have your old school hierarchical structure of an agency. It is an agency. It is a creative unit, but there is no form to it. Why? Because depending on what is on the table, the form will be made.
Wow. Nice.
Imagine a custom agency for your
Needs.
work as per your needs.
Nice.
And yeah, that's how that came into picture.
Wow. So this brings me to another question, that today, if an 18-year-old, because you recently said you gave a talk in a college as well, so if an 18-year-old wants to today come into advertising, what are those few, say, top 3 skills, that they need to have?
If an 18-year-old asked me today, I said, don't come into this
Really?
industry. I said, don't come into this industry. Koi kaam ka nahi hai, bakwas hai jaga. And there's a reason why I do this, because in our industry, abhi kya hai na, koi bhi aa sakta hai. There is no entry barrier.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that it's the most glamorous industry. It's going to be super fun. I won't have to work too much. I love my work and it's going to be great. And I'm going to make a lot of money here. No, that's not the truth. This industry is driven on a lot of craft, a lot of years of hard work, study, and understanding, a lot of hours devoted to your profession, and a lot of times thankless also. A lot of times thankless. And it's an industry where you have to have a very, very thick skin, primarily because it's an industry of rejection. From the moment you join the industry, if you do the ratio of how many times you got a yes versus how many times you got a no, the ratio would be at least 90:1.
Wow. That's
About
crazy.
90 no's before you can get one yes. So you get used to getting rejected every day, which means by default, you have to have a thick skin and understand it is not personal.
Yeah.
Which is where a young 18-year-old comes and tells me, hey, I want to join this industry, what should I do? Don't. Let's see. I discourage this. Why? Because I want to know if that person is really interested in becoming an advertiser, a marketer, or they're doing it because they think it's fun.
Got it.
And if that person, after I tell them this, I tell them, "Arey, AI aa gaya na, sab kuch badal gaya, sab band hone wala hai, chhod de." And they don't join. And if they don't join, I'm like, fabulous.
You're scaring them.
Good. I'm saying, great. Don't join. That kind of a person should not join the industry. That's what's the problem with the industry. हमने भरे हैं लोगों को. There are a lot of agencies out there. We are a cool, cultured Gen Z agency. But you see the attrition rate over there.
Yeah, it's huge.
At the lower level, the attrition rates are almost 80%, 100% sometimes. Month on month check karo, pagal ho jaoge.
Yeah. But when it comes to creativity, it's very difficult. It's very subjective in nature,
Definitely.
and what might be creative for me might not be so creative for you as a brand person or even as a normal human
Very
being,
true. Yeah.
So how today with AI, how do you harness that skill that, okay, you said rejection bahut milenge, wo
Bilkul.
pakka hai,
Bilkul.
but how do you harness that creativity, to keep going on, okay.
True.
For, you've entered or you've spent few years.
So I think now for the person who's very serious about entering, if I tell them 3 things to do, who's really serious about entering, it would one be focus on your craft. Yeah. By default, your first 5 years, 6 years in the industry, you will see a lot of other people getting titles just to be retained or getting a chance to work on some big campaigns, all that. Great. Don't look around. Look inward first.
Got it.
When you start, you look inward, to make yourself better, which means your craft. So it means if you're a writer, write better. If you're a graphic designer, design better, understand better, communicate more, understand the craft as deeply as possible. While you're doing that, your outward is pure observation. It is not judgment. It is not. It is no faff. It is pure observation, understanding the world that you are from.
Got it.
And once you do that, then you will be unstoppable. So your first thing I would tell them is focus on your craft. Number two, figure out how you're going to build that thick skin, because it will be it's an industry of rejection. It is. One of the greatest campaigns that has come out of India is Mile Sur Mera Tumhara,
Yeah.
written by Piyush Pandey.
Yeah.
May his soul rest in peace. In a time today, it's so easy to write something, send to a client on WhatsApp, email. वो वहाँ पे से email WhatsApp पे तुम्हें respond कर देंगे. They'll give you feedback. You rewrite it, send, comes back. Very easy.
Yeah.
Imagine there was no email.
Okay.
There is no WhatsApp. There is no Slack. None of this exists. And you don't have Google Docs. So what you do is, you sit, you take a pen and paper, and you write a draft with your hand. Somebody might type it out for you on a typewriter. Take that, get down from your building, travel to the client's office, sit down in front of the client, narrate it. Client says, no. This is the feedback. Pack your bags, go back to your office, fresh piece of paper, write again. Go back to the client.
Yeah.
Physically. Get rejected. Come back.
Wow.
17 drafts.
17.
17 drafts.
Wow.
The one that we hear today is the 18th one, which the client okayed.
Wow.
That is the patience that you require.
A lot of
And you will be
perseverance.
fabulous when you do that.
Wow.
So that part. That's what I keep telling someone. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your craft. And be patient with whatever you're doing in that moment.
Got it.
The sense of urgency is not there. Nobody died because a brief didn't go out on time. Right? I just read it on one of these things recently. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
It is not that urgent.
True.
Oh, we are on a deadline, it will die. No, nobody's going to die. It is not a life and death situation. But if you come, it should become a life and death situation if you're ready to put out something shit. Then it should become a life and death situation. ये बकवास है, नहीं डाल सकते हम लोग ये. That's where you need to draw the line. So set your standards very high. Learn the craft as much as possible and be extremely patient with you, with yourself and your craft. Fabulous. By the time you're 25, in your 30s, you will be doing the best work of your life.
Wow.
And that is not just for industry. I would say anywhere else.
That's good.
That's what I would tell someone.
That's a very good piece of advice, I must say. In advertising, they say traditional. Now every agency is digital. Every agency is wants to be hybrid, or what you which you started many years back with the right time, with the right attitude. But the problem comes when the old school thought process collides with the new school thought process, and this is not a business decision. I think sometimes it's the ego which starts to come out, because they say, oh, in our times we used to write copies and we had those people who used to physically sit and create colors, so for those people who are now leading, say, big brands, or who are trying to get into a mind of a Gen Z, it's difficult. So how does an agency build that gap, or bridge that gap, because I understand the client has to be serious. Client has to
definitely
give you a great brief. But I think agency is playing a big role in...
Definitely. I think it all starts from there only, that the way they are going to brief you is also how they are seeing you. If they know that's a very serious agency on the other side, nobody take that liberty to brief you in a very bad way.
Yeah.
Because that agency side say then be a response. This is a shit brief. What are you doing? Kya hai? Don't do this nonsense with us. Ye to pehli baat ho gayi. Second is the traditional and the digital wala part job keh rahe ho. Honestly speaking, there is nothing like this.
Okay.
There is no traditional versus new.
Okay.
It's actually just the fact that there are some new mediums which will come in. जो traditional कर रहा था, वो उस new medium में किया जा रहा है. Because it's a new medium, the process is different. The idea is still the same.
Got it.
The basics are going to be the same no matter what medium we're talking about. It's the same way that, let's say in the 90s, when Alec Padamsi and all these people used to, in the 80s, in fact, 70s, 80s, when they used to write great copies and वो सब उस time पे there was just newspaper,
Yeah.
right? Print was everything. Then came television. The moment television came, people like, oh, अब दुनिया बदल जाएगी, पुराने एजेंसी सब बंद हो जाएगा, traditional versus new हो गया. तब that time the new was the guys who work on TV. That's when the Prasoon Joshi, Piyush Pande's of the world became very big. They didn't become big because they were just understanding the medium. They understood mass, which means अब जब print बनता था, it was written only in English.
Yeah.
Television started becoming in Hindi.
Got it.
Now, problem is when you're doing Hindi, you're still alienating half the country because language. So that was still happening. But अब क्या हुआ? The moment that started happening, it became the new norm.
Yeah.
The moment digital started coming in, अब ये सब traditional हो गया है, and digital is the new thing. Which means nothing changed. Process बदल गया.
Yeah.
And now there are people who became very big through the digital world.
Yeah.
Now, अब digital भी इस side पे आ चुका है. AI has become the next big thing.
Seriously.
See, nothing changes.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The idea is still going to be the hero. What is your core idea? How well do you understand your customer? What is the insight that you're working on? What is the human insight?
Yeah.
ये चीज तो वैसी ही रहने वाली है. Just the process changes because of the medium in which you're working.
Sure.
When you had, like you said, physically making colors, आज तुम्हारे पास Adobe है, Photoshop है, अब कल तुम्हारे पास AI है तो वो भी शायद नहीं करना पड़ रहा है. Tools are changing.
Yeah.
The advertiser's job and their core thinking, the creativity, that does not change. That will stay intact no matter what happens.
So now that you've organically got into the AI conversation, I didn't have to nudge you.
Yeah.
It's the burning topic, Omkar. You know, everybody today from the creative world, from the marketing world,
Yeah.
is thinking that it's gonna take your jobs. It's gonna, plug you out of the system,
Fair.
take you. What's your take on it?
I think it's great. First of all, any new technology, when it comes in, it brings efficiency
Sure.
by default, right? It's the way assembly lines came into picture. Like factories became much more efficient. Yes, in the process, some people did lose their jobs. But that's how technology works. Technology जब आएगी तो शायद जो 5 लोगों का काम है आप एक मशीन से शायद करा सकते हो, लेकिन मशीन को चलाने के लिए 2 लोग शायद लगेंगे, तो 5 की जगह पे अब 2 हो गए.
Do you think manipulation will increase? Recently, someone was talking to me about Psych GPT.
Yeah.
Basically, like 300 psychological books have been entered, and now you can put a person's LinkedIn profile, and that person the GPT will tell you how to hack into that person's brain. But I find it manipulative. I'm not yet used it firsthand, so I can't comment more about it.
So I just think about it like this. Whatever AI is bringing to the table right now, and AI is of course just a very, very broad term. Using AI, there will be hundreds of tools, some which we are already using on a daily basis,
Sure.
some which we will use for specific purposes.
Sure.
It's the same way you use any specific tool. आपके पास घर में एक ड्रिल है, लेकिन आप ड्रिल पूरा दिन अपने साथ लेके नहीं घूमते हो. जब ड्रिल की जरूरत पड़ी तो ड्रिल लाया, यूज किया, वापस रख दिया. सेम थॉट प्रोसेस. हमारे पास साइक जीपीटी शायद होगा, जब उसकी जरूरत पड़ी इसको यूज किया, बाद में रख दिया. Same way, it's a set of tools, and hence at OCD also we are talking about that. Right? We have a proprietary stack. What is the thought process of a stack? There are hundreds of tools out there. How do we use them? How do we stack them together? Which ones we use, which ones we don't use?
Got it. Yeah.
Which means drill है, 5 टाइप की ड्रिल है, 5 ब्रांड्स है. लेकिन वो ब्रांड का ना वो ड्रिल ऐसे काम नहीं करता है, ये वाला ड्रिल का ये ब्रांड का बेटर काम करता है.
Got it.
Same thought process with your AI tools.
But where
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but
no,
when
no.
you come to that point of manipulation, that is by default going to happen. And that has been happening everywhere. Like digital पे misinformation होता है. WhatsApp के ऊपर आपको WhatsApp यूनिवर्सिटी पे चीजें आती हैं, right? Similarly, AI पे भी वैसी चीजें होंगी.
Yeah.
You're assuming that, let's say, what Psych GPT talks about. I'm giving an example of Psych GPT right now, saying that LinkedIn profile डाल दिया, it will tell you how to hack this person. You think psychologists were not being hired by firms to already do that?
Maybe.
Exactly. It's just something which has been democratized. And we are thinking, oh, it's a dangerous tool. No, it was being done always. Where do you think the idea came from?
Yeah.
And hence now it's being something that everybody can use. How people use it, will it be effective or not? Well, it's left to the people then.
Got it.
The aim of the tool is to be a tool.
Yeah.
If there are murders which increase, you don't ban knives.
Got
It
it.
doesn't make sense. You make the society understand the knives are for cutting the vegetable, not the person. That's what you do.
Got it.
You expect people to act in a civilized manner.
Got it.
Same goes with AI. So I think it's a welcome thing. There is already a lot of efficiency which is coming in. It's allowing you to do work faster much better. It's a great companion as a tool. As like any tool, too much dependency on it
Yeah.
is not right.
Got it.
Like any other tool. If you have a two-wheeler, too much dependency on the two-wheeler becomes bad, which means मैं अब यहाँ से 10 मीटर दूर जाना मैं two-wheeler पे नहीं जाऊंगा. I'll walk it out.
Yeah.
Same thing here also. That it's like people are thinking it's some great big different thing that has happened. No, some new tech has brought some new tool for you. Look at it like a tool.
Got it.
And use it like a tool. How you would use any specific tool in the world. It's just that.
Amazing. Coming from you, it's reassuring that AI is not going to take my job. At least next 5 years, I'm secured.
I think you will only make your own avatar and you'll start doing probably daily new podcasts coming out and all that will start.
Yeah.
It's scale.
Yeah, I'll take your more dates then, Omkar. I'm sure there's lots to talk which you're not covering today.
There's a reason why I'm not very active on social media about posting stuff. If I start posting my thoughts and my opinions so much, I'll get into a lot of trouble.
But your posts are very edgy, and I think they bring out the flavor.
Keep it till there. There's so much of restraint you don't know in there. मैं इतना से बोलना चाहता हूँ, but I don't think I should.
Interesting. But what today agency is trying to explain to a client, and what does the client doesn't understand from your perspective?
I think there is a lot of learning that like we talk about advertising agency side पे काफी लोग को काफी learning करनी है. Same goes from the client side. I think and there's a lot of ways to look at it. One of the biggest changes that changes या फिर you would say gaps for that matter is the understanding of creativity. You have someone who is a manager on the other side and the client side judging creativity which has been created by an artist on this side. That's instantly a big gap. A manager will not be able to judge creativity. They can judge the output. They can probably say, as a consumer, I'm not sure whether this is working for me or not. I will have a problem if they start telling me what to do to fix it.
Got it.
That's not their job. Otherwise, why are they hiring a creative person? The core point here is that if you have somebody who's an artist on this side creating something, someone who understands that art on that side is very important.
True.
And not a lot of managers understand art.
Yeah.
They understand management, which is they're very good at that. That's why they've been hired over there. It's their job. It's their expertise. Their expertise is not this. So unless you have trained them to judge creativity, don't make them judge creativity.
Got it.
That big gap is there. So I think there was one of these big conversations that we've been having with a lot of clients these days is that do you run creativity workshops for your brand managers where they understand color, they understand the concept of design, layout, typography, writing, creativity, campaign thought process. What would allow them to become better partners for an agency on the brand side?
Yeah.
When that becomes great, you'll see great work coming out everywhere. All the best work that you see globally, which is coming out also, has been because on the brand side, there's somebody who understands that creativity as well. So that becomes a good partnership.
So basically, it's the teamwork which matters. It doesn't mean that agency is another team.
Absolutely
it's part of the same
extension.
Team. Yeah,
it's an extension. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's one big area. I think the other big space, which is a problem right now, is a hyper focus on deliverables. A hyper focus on just getting that post out. And the thought process comes from how the algorithm works on some platforms.
Yeah.
The problem is that the KPI of your brand manager is not brand uplift. Their KPI is how well did you manage the agency. That unfortunately is a lose-lose battle then. Yeah. And what will happen here is that this person then is only worried कि मेरे जो ये महीने में 25 पोस्ट जाने थे वो गए कि नहीं गए आई एम हैप्पी मैंने 26 करा दिए ग्रेट आई एम हैप्पियर
I would like to be a devil's advocate. I'm not saying your agency, but most of the agencies today work on that fashion, that they have broken down their creativity into installments.
Very true.
Made sure that 30 deliverables are in place and they have calendarized it. So then the accountability, don't you think, lies both ends?
Absolutely. The point is that it has happened because we screwed up first. Agency is the one who came with this proposal to the client team.
Yeah.
The first digital agencies, and I will tell all of those first digital agencies who started for the first time, who could not convince a client how traditional billing used to work, which is hourly billing rates,
Yeah.
man hours के हिसाब से. ये लोग को वो समझता नहीं था क्योंकि वो उस दुनिया से भी नहीं आए थे. ये लोग यंगस्टर्स थे who liked the digital world, and pardon me saying this, मेरे डैड के पास बहुत पैसा है and I want to start a new business and I think this is cool, so I'm going to do this, and hence they have a certain accent also. But the point is they did that, it worked very well, but they did not understand उस टाइम पे कि मैं बिलिंग कैसे करूं. तो उन्होंने सोचा एक काम करते हैं, पीस मील कर डालते हैं. we'll give a menu card, पैकेज बना देंगे, दिस इज द रिटेनर पर मंथ, उसके सामने इतना काम करके देंगे आपको. ठीक है. वो काम करने के लिए कितने लोग लगेंगे वो आप मत सोचो. क्लाइंट बोला ठीक है, ग्रेट, इट्स फाइन. इट वाज नॉट अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ आवर वर्क एट दैट टाइम. दे वर लाइक globally on a yearly basis about 2-3% of your budget was digital that time. Sometimes if you're lucky 2%, 3%, lucky 5%. तो बोलेगा okay fine, it's okay, sign कर दो, काम शुरू कर दो. Now the point is that budget allocation started increasing, सब बढ़ने लगा. ये मॉडल बदला नहीं उसके हिसाब से.
Okay. Yeah.
आज भी वही प्राइसिंग मॉडल रहेगा.
That's so true.
Which is still the reason why digital is the worst paid agencies, digital agencies. They are actually the worst paid in advertising, at least in India.
Yeah, that's so true.
I would not be able to tell about everything globally, but at least in India, worst paid are digital agencies.
That's so
and they're okay with it also.
Yeah.
Which is the problem. Jabki a creative agency, when I say it, your traditional larger agencies, network agencies, they have such better payment levels.
Yeah.
The reason is because they value their creativity, they value their people, and they value how they bring it to the table. यहाँ पे वो चीजें नहीं हो रही हैं. So we are only to blame. ये पूरा जो बोलते हैं ना, मडिंग द वाटर्स हमने किया है शुरुआत से. अब क्लीन अप करने की कोशिश करोगे, there will be a massive push that is required.
It's like Adani taking the Meethi River cleanup
Absolutely,
project
yeah.
today.
It's not going to be easy, boss.
It's not going to be easy.
And you can't complain now.
Yeah, that's
so which is what we are trying to do. We go to a client, we say, this is what we'll charge you. What is this? It's a creative fee.
Nice.
And like, what do you mean creative fee? सामने deliverable कितना आएगा? Deliverable तो इतने ही आएंगे. That's it. मतलब इतने में सिर्फ इतना? बोले हाँ sir, sorry. We equated actually. I've been speaking about this since 5 years now. That we are in the service industry. Compare it to any other service industry. Go to a restaurant. You go to a restaurant. There is a Taj. And there is a Shiv Sagar also. Both are great.
Yeah.
तो ताज में रोज नहीं जाओगे. I'm talking about a middle class person, of course. ताज में रोज नहीं जाओगे. शिव सागर में वीक में 2-3 बार जाओगे शायद. It's fine. Both are great.
Yeah.
But दोनों जगह पे जाके आप ये नहीं कहोगे एटलीस्ट ताज में कोई घुसा और ये बोला कि सर एक कॉफी चाहिए. बोले कि सर $600. मतलब बाजू वाला तो कम में देता है.
True.
बोलेगा कोई? नहीं. क्या ये बोलेगा उसको जाके एक काम करो, पहले मुझे थोड़ा चखाओ, अगर अच्छा लगा ना तो हम तुम्हारे से कॉफी लूंगा मैं. नहीं ना. उसको बोलो कि अरे इतना क्या पैसा लेते हो आप कॉफी का, बताओ आपका कॉस्ट कहाँ के, कितना कॉस्ट लगा इसको बनाने के लिए. Would you have any such conversation?
No.
Why do we expect or accept such conversations for this service then?
Yeah, that's so true.
The moment you go to a Taj and tell that person कि सर ये सस्ता मिलता है बाजू में, you'll be like, why don't you just leave sir from here right now? If you go to a Shiv Sagar also, वहां भी जाके आप ये पूछोगे ना, ये बाजू वाला डोसा तो 50 रुपए कम में देता है. I'm like, सर एक काम करो, आप निकलो. ऑर्डर करना है कि नहीं करना है, टाइम खराब मत करो, निकलो. That is the response you'll get. You'll not get the response, अरे सर ठीक है ना, हम कम करेंगे आपके लिए, आप बस जाओ मत. Ever heard this happen in any other service industry? Why are we accepting this in advertising?
That's so true.
Tell them, namaskar, आगे जाओ.
That's true. I think that's where the whole cookie has crumbled, and specifically in
Absolutely.
the digital, and that's why the word burnout is the most heard
Absolutely.
in the digital space
Absolutely.
today. From the senior management to the even the youngsters, from anxiety
Absolutely.
issues to burnouts, it's so
Absolutely.
common. So I completely agree with you that
Any business
the
in this world,
ownership has to be taken.
any business in this world, if the only reason you're getting a client or able to retain them is price, you're screwed already.
Yeah,
Somebody will outprice you then.
that's true.
It should be the value that you're giving that client,
That's
not
so,
because I'm cheap.
that's true.
That approach is wrong.
That's so true.
You
That's
can't
so
do that.
true. So my last question before we go to the rapid fire round, there is a
Okay.
rapid fire round also.
Okay.
If hybrid was a drink,
Hmm.
what would it be And what would be the one tagline for it?
Wow. If hybrid was a drink, well, I think hybrid would be a shot,
Short.
definitely, because we don't like to do retainers too much. We like doing projects, like big time projects. So I think it'd be a shot. It'd probably be a Jaeger bomb
Whoa.
because it'll taste great. It'll go down very smooth, but in a few minutes you will not know what hit you hard, and then it's gonna take you for your best ride of your life for whatever time that you have it with you. And the tagline would be the punch when you never expect it.
Amazing.
I guess probably. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Wow. Yeah.
Nice.
Should
I
start
look
using that.
forward to it. Maybe
Yeah, I should start using that probably now. I don't know.
I look forward to Hybrid launching that amazing drink sometime in the future.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? On Madira Vogue, we don't let our guests go out so easily. They have
Yes.
to drink with me. They have to
Yes.
also, play a small rapid fire round. So
That's
here
good.
there are some questions that I've
Okay.
curated for you specifically, and I would go one by one. So starting with, what is the most interesting or the most exciting alcobev brand today in India?
Rangila. Rangila
Okay.
vodka.
Okay.
Two reasons. One is that I love the fact that mainstream brand has come up with a Hindi name on top of it. Very rare, of course. There are a few in the world, but this one is very interesting.
Okay.
It's a vodka brand, so consumption will be very specific, of course. Great packaging. Ranveer Singh.
Okay.
So you have very different kind of energy which comes to the way it's being marketed. Even the new campaigns which is coming out.
One trend that you think the alcobev brands need to now let go of?
Yeah, trying to fit it to every kind of music. Yeah, foolish.
That's so true. That's
Yeah.
so true.
Another trend that you definitely want to lose out on is going traditional in the way they do their distribution also. But I think one of the trends that they can start is to make don't drink and drive and drink responsibly campaigns center stage.
What do you think has more storytelling power? A whiskey brand or a gin brand?
Okay. I think still definitely whiskey will always have a little bit of an edge, primarily because it can go to areas where gin cannot. Gin will not be able to enter dark areas. When I say dark areas, in terms of storytelling,
Yeah.
mysterious places, gin cannot enter that area. Whiskey will thrive in that space, but whiskey can go to every place that gin does.
So
Become
I
part
get-
of a
I
cocktail,
get
and
that.
so yeah.
That's so true. One word that comes to your mind when you hear about Gen Zs, drinking less.
Confidence.
Okay.
I think that's something to look at very positively. There is a certain confidence they have about what they want, very sure of what they don't want, and as a result, even coming that then comes into the world of control.
Got it. One campaign in the recent time that you wish you had done or your agency had done.
I think there is a campaign which I always feel that I wish we had been a part of that campaign. That is the Unfiltered History Tour done for Vice News by Web Chutney team.
One question that I need to ask you, if Madira Vogue was launching a cocktail brand,
Okay.
ready to make cocktail, what should be the tagline?
Sass in a cocktail.
Sass. Wow.
Sass in a shot. Something like that, I guess. Madira Vogue.
That's so cool.
All sass. No, whatever, something. Yeah, I think something like that. Sass in a little cocktail, yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
very innovative. Wow. If Elon Musk is he's sending people in Mars,
Yeah,
his most ambitious project is that. I mean, वहाँ लोग जाएंगे दारू तो पिएंगे. I'm sure they will need some sort of entertainment.
By
And,
default. Of course.
and if he sends you a brief to crack a campaign for the people at Mars to drink this particular drink, what would your pitch, 1 minute elevator pitch be?
Let's create a brand which people will not understand anything about and talk about it as if it's the greatest invention you've ever done in your life, and talk about the fact that it's backed by people who have been backing all the darkest shit in the world, and it's custom created for Mars, and it's going to get you so high that you will never come down from your high horses, and it's extremely exclusive. Even Elon has not tasted it till now. Something like that, and he'll be like, "Oh, that I want that." Yes, and you name it some weird thing like X.56 through. Yeah, something like that.
Like
Or-
his babies.
Yeah, something like that. And he'll be like, "Ye mujhe chahiye." So yeah, something that people don't understand and there's no sense in it, we love it.
Thank you. This is one of the most funny and enlightening rapid fire round I've ever had. Thank you so much for doing this with Madira Vogue
Thank you
today.
so much. Thanks a lot.
And cheers to
Cheers,
2026. We're just starting. This year is going to be very exciting for all of us. So
Thank you,
cheers
thank you.
to that and
All
cheers
the
to
very best.
Hybrid.
Thank you very much. All the very best to you guys also. Season 3 has started.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens across the season. Then.
Same here, same here. So that was Omkar Joshi here with Madira Vogue. And for such more interesting conversation, keep following my podcast, Getting Drunk with Madira Vogue. Thank you.